In the kitchen of the Silver Dragon Castle, the scene was set. A pen rested on the wooden table alongside scattered herbs, a mysterious bottle of fluid, and books whose open pages seemed to whisper, "Read me." Suddenly, two dragon maids entered the room. One carried a tray overflowing with herbs, and the other clutched a package wrapped in coarse paper. In unison, they announced, "Lord Leon, the herbs you requested are all here." Leon extended his hand towards the table, his voice calm, but with an edge of impatience. "Good, put them down here." The maids carefully placed the herbs on the table before bowing slightly and leaving the room. As their footsteps faded, Leon let out a quiet breath, leaning against the table. "I specifically requested extra herbs so they wouldn't suspect what I'm really doing." His fingers drummed the wood lightly before stopping abruptly. He rubbed his temple, staring at the array of ingredients. The materials for preparing Dragon-grade force are common enough, and the refining techniques aren't too complicated. But why does the book say even the best pharmacists in the Dragon Clan struggle to concoct it successfully? The question gnawed at him, a sharp reminder of his repeated failures. Determined to banish the thought, Leon grabbed a bowl and began grinding herbs with practiced precision. "First, grind the herbs thoroughly," he muttered under his breath, his tone steely as though the words alone could command success. "Then, mix the herbs you've selected and add them to the pot in sequence while boiling." Hours passed. Leon stood at the stove, boiling herbs with the expertise of a seasoned alchemist. His hands moved seamlessly, one adding ingredients, the other stirring the concoction with methodical care. The room filled with the earthy aroma of boiling herbs, yet his chest tightened with mounting frustration. Success seemed just out of reach, taunting him. Finally, Leon slumped into a chair, exhaustion weighing on his frame. He rubbed his face with both hands and muttered, "Failed again. It's not as easy as it looks." He picked up a bottle containing his latest failed attempt and studied it closely. A hollow ache settled in his chest as he whispered, "I've followed the instructions in this book several times, but I always fail at the last step, purifying and separating the drug." His gaze shifted to two bottles on the table. One contained a vivid blue liquid, the other a murky, dark substance. Pointing at them, he frowned deeply. The high-temperature separation method described in the book has its flaws. If the temperature's too high, the drug becomes ineffective. Too low, and it won't yield a pure extract. With a sigh, Leon clenched his right hand, frustration creeping into his tone. Is it impossible to achieve the separation effect manually? Do I really need specialized instruments for this? The weight of his repeated failures bore down on him, but he forced himself to remember a piece of wisdom passed down by the masters. If one method fails, search for another way. Are there any other effective ways to separate the medicinal residue? He murmured, his fingers brushing the scattered books on the table. His eyes narrowed as determination flickered in his gaze. Grabbing one of the books, he muttered, "There has to be an answer. I won't give up until I find it." Outside the kitchen window, lightning cracked across the sky, illuminating the rain-heavy clouds. Leon's gaze drifted to the storm. Holding up the bottle of his failed concoction, he muttered, "Is it thundering? It's going to rain soon." The rhythmic tapping of raindrops against the window seemed to mirror his relentless thoughts. Rising from his chair, he approached the window to close it. Gripping the wooden frame, he whispered to himself, "Lightning. Thunder. Thunder." Suddenly, a memory sparked in his mind, and his eyes widened. Thunder. I remember, during alchemy class, the teacher once mentioned that electrolysis sometimes has a higher success rate than direct heat roasting. Excitement coursed through him, replacing his earlier frustration. He spun back toward the table. "The book doesn't mention it," he muttered, a grin creeping onto his face. "But I'm best at lightning magic. Even though I've only recovered a fraction of my power, it should be enough for subtle manipulation like this." His hands trembled slightly, not with doubt, but with eagerness, as he placed one beneath the container holding the herbs. Channeling a faint pulse of electricity, he watched as lightning crackled softly from his fingers, enveloping the herbs in a precise, controlled charge. This has to work, he thought, his brow furrowed in intense focus. For an hour, the room was filled with the quiet hum of magic and the occasional soft hiss from the concoction. Then, as if answering his hopes, the mixture began to separate, its layers shimmering with clarity. The glowing product he had been striving for emerged, brighter and purer than he had imagined. Holding the result in his hand, Leon's chest swelled with pride. "Success!" he exclaimed, his voice brimming with triumph. Carefully, he placed the dragon-grade force pill into a small box, admiration gleaming in his eyes. Dragon medicine is surprisingly simple to make if you approach it correctly. He barely had a moment to bask in his achievement when a soft, curious voice broke through his thoughts. "Dad, what are you making?" Leon froze, his hand still hovering over the box. Leon nearly jumped out of his skin as his daughter Myun appeared out of nowhere, her tail wagging uncontrollably. She bounced with excitement, her wide eyes fixed on her father. "Good stuff," Leon muttered awkwardly, attempting to slide the box out of sight. Myun tilted her head curiously, her smile as radiant as the storm's lightning. "Is it candy?" Leon froze, his mouth working to form words before he stammered. What? "Myun, it's nothing." He hurriedly shut the box, patting her head with exaggerated enthusiasm in a desperate bid to change the subject. But Myun, unrelenting in her innocent curiosity, pointed at the box with even more enthusiasm. "Dad's holding candy. Is it for me?" Leon straightened up and in a comically dramatic gesture, raised the box as if presenting a royal artifact. "This is medicine I made for your mom," he announced, his voice swelling with feigned importance. Myun blinked, her tail flicking. "Medicine? Is Mom sick?" Sliding the box into his pocket, Leon crouched to meet her inquisitive gaze. He tousled her hair, his tone softening. No, she's fine. Your mom's just been really busy lately, so I thought I'd make something to help her relax. Don't worry about it." In his mind, though, he added, "Actually, this is for me." Myun, her face beaming with pure innocence, raised a tiny finger in a decisive gesture. "Then, Dad, you have to take really good care of Mom." Leon smiled, the warmth of her words softening his earlier tension. He nodded earnestly. Of course, that's what dads do. Deep inside, however, his darker thoughts surfaced for a brief moment. "Oh, I'll take care of her all right, once I've fully recovered." Later that night, as the storm outside grew heavier, Leon sat alone in his bedroom. The box rested in his hands, and his gaze bore into it with a mix of pride and apprehension. Lightning illuminated his face, casting sharp shadows across the room as his mind raced. "The dragon-grade force has been cultivated," he muttered. "But will the Dragon Clan's nutritional supplement have any negative effects on humans?" His grip on the box tightened, hesitation rippling through him. "I'll put it aside for now," he decided, placing the box carefully on the bedside table. Before he could dwell further, a sudden knock at the door made him jump. "Who could that be at this hour?" he muttered, his heart skipping a beat. The door creaked open without waiting for a response, revealing Roswisa standing in the doorway, her presence commanding yet calm. Leon shot upright in bed, his voice tinged with surprise and mild panic. "Why are you here?" Roswisa, her tail swishing playfully, stepped into the room with a knowing smirk. "I heard from Yin that you made me a medicine, something that looks like chocolate candy to regulate my body." Her teasing tone and sharp gaze sent a chill racing down Leon's spine. Her eyes narrowed slightly, her expression practically declaring, "I know you're up to no good." Leon glanced awkwardly to the side, letting out a strained laugh. "My little cotton-padded jacket leaked everything so quickly," he thought, already feeling beads of sweat forming on his brow. Roswisa, arms crossed with the effortless confidence of someone used to being in control, stepped closer. "Don't be nervous," she said with a calm but teasing lilt. "I'm not here to interrogate you. I'm just surprised that you managed to refine medicine in such a simple environment." Leon blinked in shock. "She's not mocking me?" Roswisa leaned forward, her hand extended expectantly. "So, what did you refine? Show it to me." Leon swallowed hard, feeling a spike of pressure as he reluctantly retrieved the box from his pocket. "Even if I said no, you'd just use violence to take it anyway," he muttered, holding it out to her with a mix of resignation and annoyance. Roswisa smirked as she opened the box, her golden eyes scanning the pill inside. "That's good," she said, her voice surprisingly genuine. "You're really amazing, Leon. To refine such a perfect dragon-grade force pill under these conditions, it's impressive." Leon's jaw nearly hit the floor. "She's praising me?" But her tone suddenly shifted to one of playful dominance as she arched a brow. "What's that saying? The man of letters and the man of arms." Leon stiffened. "Oh no, she's serious now." Roswisa snapped the box shut and handed it back to him. "You can keep this," she said firmly, But you're not taking this medicine now. Leon caught the box, confusion etched on his face. Why not? He asked. Crossing her arms, she fixed him with a mildly annoyed glare. As a tonic for the dragon race, it's too potent for the human body. Leon frowned, his grip tightening around the box. Is this medicine really that powerful? Roswisa didn't so much as blink. I'm kindly reminding you that as a human, you can't withstand its power. Leon's frustration bubbled over, and his gaze hardened. So what if I don't have the power of a dragon? He said, his voice rising with defiance. I've defeated countless dragon kings. Why would a little pill stop me? Don't underestimate me, Roswisa. Before she could react, Leon tipped his head back and swallowed the pill in one decisive motion. Courage, he declared with a dramatic flourish, is the hymn of mankind. Roswisa's eyes widened in shock before narrowing in a mix of anger and panic. She lunged toward him. Leon, you idiot. But before she could finish, Leon clutched his chest, a sharp, searing pain ripping through him. He stumbled back onto the bed, one knee collapsing beneath him as he clenched his teeth against the agony. Leon! Roswisa's voice was sharp with alarm as she knelt beside him. Her hands glowed with silvery, healing magic as she reached out. You absolute fool! I hardly ever use healing magic, and now, she worked frantically, her voice trembling with barely contained fear. How are you feeling now? Let me try to break down the pill's effects. Leon raised a trembling hand, gripping hers tightly to stop her spell. Don't move, he growled through gritted teeth, his face contorted in pain. Leon, stop being reckless, she yelled, her frustration boiling over. You'll make it worse. Despite the waves of agony coursing through him, Leon forced a defiant grin, his fiery gaze locking onto hers. Look carefully, Silver Dragon Queen, he said, his voice hoarse but unwavering. This is the courage and determination of mankind. Alright, that's a wrap for today's video. Thanks for sticking around till the end. You're the real MVP. If you're itching for more of this series, drop a comment and let me know. And hey, if you want front row seats to the next part, go ahead and subscribe, tap that bell, and get ready for your notification dance when the next video drops. Catch you next time.